we don't need roads.
And welcome back to your favorite movie-obsessed podcast experience, the show that will finally prove that movies are the future. I'm your host, returned from Europe and finally back on the show, Harry Sweeby, joined by Declan
Wilson
and Dragon
Saman
from Movies
of the Future.
It gets better every time. Thank you guys for joining us again here.
That's okay.
And thank you again to Heath.
Hi, how's it going?
Well, you got to do this. We got to think to Heath
Moran.
from
Brisbane.
Yeah,
Brisbane, joining us once again. One of our favorite. You're a guest, but you're not really a guest because you've been on so many
You're just a
times.
cult.
now.
It says it on the thing.
You just sort of
Guest.
Just having
Yeah,
nothing
you're,
better to do.
Yeah.
You're just sort of like yeah, basically. You're just that. You are just
Heath.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
That's
I've been that for my whole life. so
Hashtag
far.
we are Heath. Thank you very much for joining us again. You made episode 6 the most watched episode so far by quite a long shot, and
All by
definitely one of the
myself.
biggest things that we've put up on the channel. So thank you very much, and thank you to you guys
That's okay.
because that was all them. So if you just joined us again after episode 6, thank you very much. The podcast is brought to you by theslopshack.com, a strange new place where creators get together. You can check out our other podcasts over on the YouTube channel. This one, which you should like and subscribe to. You can also head over to instagram.com/movies_of_the_future, where you can get all of your latest movie news, reviews, and sometimes the occasional poll or what else?
Box office.
Box
reports.
office.
Yes.
I do love. There's actually a lot of interesting box office to talk about this month as well. Speaking of this month, we'll be diving into a lot of the Comic-Con announcements, mainly just Comic-Con announcements. There's a lot of Comic-Con announcements. With our topic of the month centered around the Phase 4, Kevin Feige drops the future on us, and our mortal eyes are too weak to wield it. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you can check out the audio version, video version. You guys know the drill. Let's get into it. Oh, wait, and quick side note, which we'll insert in there. We recorded an episode last month after the X-Men special, which was the original episode 7. And then due to some technical difficulties, we lost some of the video footage. So we'll be putting up the topic of the month from that episode as its own little special where we went into our sort of cinema experiences, cinema etiquette, like things to do when you're in the cinema and things you shouldn't do when you're in the cinema. So we'll put that up at some point as its own little special. So, speaking of special, there's been a big special movie that came out this month.
Oh, yeah. As we dive into our first segment, What's Out, folks?
Graphic.
And that special movie is one that came out at the start of this month, Spider-Man Far From Home, our first post-Endgame movie. think we were all pretty excited for this, and I think it's been out for a month, so should we...
Yeah, we're just going to go full spoilers.
It's made $1 billion.
Yeah. If you haven't seen this
made
movie,
$1 billion,
you should be listening
if
to
you haven't
us.
seen it, it's your fault. I love
Mysterio is a fraud.
Yeah. My boy Jake Gyllenhaal, but I still love him.
I mean, he's played probably more villains than heroes anyway, so
Yeah, that's true.
I think like
Nightcrawler and all that.
we all still love him.
I love this movie. I really loved Far From Home. I liked Homecoming, but Far From Home really stepped it up a notch. And one of the big takeaways from this that I found was John Watts as a director. Like, in Homecoming, there were some alright shots and some of the action scenes were a bit cruddy, but in Far From Home, he really stepped it up, especially with that Mysterio scene in the middle of the movie. Like, I mean, I know
100%.
Declan said this like all the time. He's like, how do you direct that? How do you
Yeah, like,
pitch
what-
it? Like, what do you do?
How do you write that in a script or...
Yeah,
It's just-
that's
yeah,
very
so
true.
much happening.
Even that action scene in I think they were in Prague, and that Ferris wheel scene, like all those big long shots, those were like really stand out to me, and I was like, damn, John Watts can direct a damn good movie. But aside from that, even like plot points, how it jumps off Endgame and all the repercussions of that, I think it just did a really fantastic job, and it was just a fun movie. I feel it was just really nice to watch.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Heath.
We're moving away.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd have to pretty much agree. I think everyone did a really great job. I think all the cast is fantastic. That's kind of this franchise's best part, for the most part, is the casting.
Yeah.
I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I've gone on record to say that I fucking love Homecoming. I think it's awesome. I think it's one of the best MCU films. I love it. And this movie was a great follow-on. I thought it really took everything we got in Homecoming, made it better. I'd agree on pretty much everything you said, apart from the fact that I didn't think the direction was that fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty meh. I thought it was the same as most of the other MCU films.
Yeah.
I didn't think it looked fantastic. Like, I think it looked meh. I think it looked fine. But beyond that, I really liked what they did with the story. I liked all the end game, like how it followed on from a lot of the stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And I thought for the most part it was really, really good.
Declan.
Harry.
Okay. Yeah, I loved it. I've done a lot of, as I usually do after these big movies come out, I try to get into as many like the spoiler interviews as I can. And there's a great one that you should definitely check out that Empire does. They always do spoiler specials with the directors and stuff, but they did a really long one with John Watts, and then one with Kevin Feige, and then one with Amy Pascal. So it's like sort of 3 separate ones, and they each talk about separate sort of components of the movie and break it down. And they basically talk about the movie being a big like con man movie where you got lots of twists and lots of things that are, you know, you watch it the second time and it's just totally different. I think that's why it's maybe made $1 billion apart from the Endgame boost.
Because people just want to.
And why people love it is because it's a movie that you go in and you watch once and then you really want to watch it again, and there's so much that they've thrown in there for repeat viewings, like so many little things where like there's even like you can see Jake Gyllenhaal and his crew in the background in Venice, and all the stuff with Mysterio obviously, and how, you know, the trickery there and stuff, and obviously the Nick Fury Maria Hill stuff. So
the post credit scenes.
But I thought it was really good, and I think that they were really smart. They said from the beginning that they knew that they wanted to end it with his identity being revealed to the world. That was sort of what they were working towards the whole time. Because I love that. I think it sets them up for such an interesting third film of like, what do you do with that? We've never seen that, and I like that their initiative with these movies, these Spider-Man movies, has just been, let's do everything we haven't done with Spider-Man. Let's take him to space. Let's take him to Europe. Let's take him out of the skyscrapers. Let's give him these random new suits.
No Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben. Like, you know, it's just like
Uncle Happy.
And I know some people don't like that. Some people kind of want it to be a little bit more classic Spider-Man. And I think by the end of 3, it'll be back to that. It'll be J. Jonah Jameson, Mary Jane, in New York. He's like graduated from high school. Like,
I think people just can't get over the Sam Raimi trilogy.
Yeah. It's very nostalgic.
It's pizza time.
It's been years, move on.
So many better quotes.
Anyways.
Yeah. On the other side of Disney's good movies, we come to a really bad movie. The Lion King. The original was fantastic. Obviously, it's a classic.
Just one.
This one, it was just a big pile of mess. You know, I don't know if I really have a valid
big pile of dung that a dung beetle is gonna push up a hill
on this remake, because me and my mate Curtis, who we'll put up on here, we kind of fell asleep through the movie. I'd say we watched.
At what point?
Yeah,
After?
there was one
as I
point
did.
where it was like right at the start, and Curtis and I looked to Dragon, and he's just
And I was fast asleep.
and then it was like,
And I just can't.
Yeah.
and then there was another point where I was expecting me and Curtis to look at Dragon again, and I turn around,
And
and then they're
he's
both
asleep.
asleep, and I'm like,
Okay.
So I watched The Lion King, and
So, I mean, if you've seen the original, it's pretty much a play-by-play. So where I fell asleep was when Mufasa died. That's when I fell asleep.
There's
And I woke up when, in the final battle, when
Damn.
Simba's just like, you killed my dad?
So you really missed like
I probably watched about 40,
the best
50
part
minutes
of the movie though, to be honest.
Probably.
but at the same time, he
It's
didn't,
like I'd seen it before. And
exactly, you didn't miss anything
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's exactly the same as the animated.
And plus, this was half an hour longer than the original. So
Even
it's
the better stuff
Yeah.
with like Timon and Pumbaa is still not like
no.
anywhere near as
How was the stuff that they extend? Did they extend or add new scenes?
There's like a scene
No.
with Nala where she sneaks out of the Pride Lands.
Oh.
Wasn't there this part where they sing like
about it.
love something tonight, but it was in like the day or something.
Do you feel the love tonight?
Oh,
Feel the
that's
love
what
tonight.
pissed me off so
Yeah.
much. You had one job, Disney. Can you feel the love tonight?
Yeah.
Happens at night. And you did it during the daytime.
Can you feel the love at this sunset? I don't know. I didn't see the movie. So
I don't understand.
I missed it.
For me, I thought Donald Glover was pretty bad as adult Simba. He sounded
Yeah.
like a little kid, or just whenever he was like yelling at Scar, who was so cringy.
It's just all the voice actors are just distracting. Like there'd be bits when Seth Rogen would do it, it's like, and you're like, it's just Seth Rogen. Anyways.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
I thought the best part, or the best voices, were Beyonce and James L. Jones, personally.
I mean, even James L. Jones was like, it is Mufasa, but he sounds
It wasn't
older.
It wasn't as strong as.
Yeah.
Who does Beyonce
Yeah.
do?
Beyonce's Nala.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that at Principal.
Beyonce played the bird.
Oh, nice.
And I really lost it a couple months before the movies when they released those character posters.
Yeah.
Because it was just like lions, and it's like Donald Glover is Simba, and I'm like, bro, it looks like a zoo, like promotion.
Donald Glover is an actual lion.
It's just interchangeable. So this is my biggest takeaway from the movie was it's such an interesting experiment where it's like, okay, let's take the single most realistic genre, which is
Yeah.
like David Attenborough nature documentary, and let's slam it together with the least realistic genre, which is the movie musical. And let's just like see how those two things fit together. And
Yeah.
it doesn't work, but it's sort of fascinating to watch it crumble, you know? Like I was sitting there like I can't help but be kind of like amazed at how how this just happened as a thing.
Yeah. It was just like it was weird. Like I never hated it while watching it, but there was just something that I just didn't connect to it at all. I was just like, this is just wrong.
It's just plain. Well, from what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the smaller and better things, Booksmart. This movie came out probably like a month or two in America ago, and I was pretty excited for it. Obviously, when in the world of like online critiques, this movie has like a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone says it's amazing, and I'm like, it's kind of hard for me not to get excited for this movie. And I know you were pretty excited for it too.
I was really
and
keen.
It was just a really nice movie. It was just so fun to watch. It's definitely because it focuses on these two girls in high school on their last day on their graduation, the day before graduation, and they're like, well, every one of these people who don't focus on school are still getting into good colleges and they've partied and stuff, but these two girls have really knuckled down, and they're like, well, it's like super bad in the vibe.
It is very super bad.
Yeah, so it was just really like,
Super
oh,
good.
this is high school. So really connected, and it was. I knew it'd be funny, but it was a lot more funny than I thought it would be. I really laughed a lot, and thanks to this one character, Gigi, played by Billy Lord. She was a stand. She only had like 5 minutes of screen
Billy
time.
Lord, like, is in
Carrie Fisher's daughter. Yeah, she was an absolute standout in the movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you guys haven't seen it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was good. It was pretty funny. We were laughing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, for the most part, it was pretty refreshing. It wasn't a giant $500
Like a
million
franchise.
movie.
It was,
Yeah, it was just
Just a
its own
nice
thing. I always
movie.
find that really fun.
yeah.
None
Um,
of the characters were Skrulls.
Yeah, none of the characters were
As
stupid
far as
squirrels.
we know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's MCU.
We probably missed the post-credit scene.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was good. It was heartwarming. I had a
Yeah.
good time. I don't want to spoil it, but I committed my cardinal sin of these kind of movies. The Act 2 breakup is
Yeah.
my least favorite thing in these movies, and they did it, and it made me furious. So
Screenwriting 101.
yeah, so that's the biggest thing that I thought was wrong with it. And then, but apart from that, I thought it was a great time.
Yeah.
I heard that they released it pretty small and then they did a bigger wide release recently.
That probably didn't surprise me. Like, yeah, this was because this wasn't on like any, like I went on an event and stuff. It didn't look like it was gonna come out here, and I was like, what? Why? But then eventually it just was released. I'm like, all right, cool. Okay, we get to see this movie, and I'm glad it did because this is one of the best movies of the year because I really like this movie.
And
Is
I'm
it-
giving this one a 6 out of 10.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's next?
Moving on to
I don't think I've seen
Stuba.
anything else on the list. So.
You haven't? Oh man. Well, yeah, Stuba, and I think I saw this one last night. I don't think anyone saw it.
Did you see it? I thought you said you saw it the other day.
No, I saw it last night.
You said you saw it on Thursday.
No, I didn't.
On Thursday, you told me you'd seen it.
Did I actually?
Yeah.
No, I saw it last night.
Yeah,
Well, that's interesting.
Oh.
And timestamp that.
Well, I saw it last night. No, yeah, I saw it last night. Oh well, I don't know. Probably said some other movie, but I was kind of excited for this movie. I really like Kumail Nanjiani and the Big Sick. Dave Bautista is just a fun presence, and started my man from the Raid, Iko Uwais.
I just really wanted to tell the poster to be the quote of Dave Bautista is a fun presence.
But yeah, this movie was alright. It felt like it tried too hard to be funny, and that was a bit disappointing. It was way more of an action movie than a comedy.
Okay.
And the action was pretty good. Like, they didn't butcher my man Iko's scenes in this movie like they did in Mar 22. But there was the chemistry between Kumail and Batista was pretty good. One of the highlights of the movie, but it was a 93-minute movie, but it felt like 2 hours. It felt so long, and I'm like, when is this over? And then they try to do this twist in the movie, and I'm like, I don't care about this person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't really be remembering this movie, but it was fine. I didn't feel like I wasted my time.
Would you recommend it?
Maybe if you're drunk,
Okay.
like just to like get buzzed and then head to the cinemas and be like, whoa. So yeah,
When you're weapon drunk
Fair
on your
enough.
way to go see
feel
Stuber.
like yeah. And then we shall move on to the only Netflix movie that myself and Declan saw, Point Blank, starring Anthony Mackie and Frank Grillo.
Sounds like it's continuing in the vein of like Triple Frontier and just all of these
See,
Triple
you think that
Frontiers.
it's like, well, personally, when I saw this poster and it was just them two like sitting down and chilling out, I thought it would be like a buddy cop comedy sort of thing. But nah, it felt like it wanted to be a comedy or like one of those like types of movies, but it was so serious. It was just like, we gotta get this to this place in a certain amount of time, and it was just the final act where it kind of embraced what it was, but even then it was just too late to pick up the slack.
So what is it about?
It's about Frank Grillo and someone who plays his brother. I only watched it like 2 weeks ago and I already forget.
I think I know.
And
They have something that could
What an awesome review.
so Frank Grillo has to do something so he can get his brother like free from like criminal charges or something like that. And Anthony Mackie is a nurse who takes care of Frank Grillo because he gets shot, and then the brother's just like, you need to get my brother out of hospital before these guys come get them. And then it's like Anthony Mackie and Frank Grillo's big day out.
because Frank Grillo's
Big
brother abducted Anthony Mackie's pregnant wife.
Yeah.
And then so it's this awkward. Yeah.
Anthony and Frank's big day out. Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
But I enjoyed the last act because they interact with some other people, and they do this big stupid thing outside a police station. I'm like, this is what the movie should have been.
Yeah.
But the first two acts were just like a montage of phone calls saying, I have your wife. Okay, where are you? I'm here. Okay, let's go. And the problem continues. It's like, all right, I'm here now. Come here. And then that's pretty much the whole
There you go.
movie.
It's just dumb.
Yeah, it was, and Anthony Mackie and Frank Grillo didn't even like work that well together in this movie. I feel like it should have been a good combo, but it really did nothing for me. So yeah, onto a foreign movie, a Korean movie. I didn't see this, but these two guys did. Parasite, brought by the director of Okja and Snowpiercer, and I didn't see it. So
Well, Heath messaged us and he's like, "Oi, we should go check this out." And he's like, "It's from the director of Okja," so that got me interested. And we went and saw it and thought it was pretty damn good. I thought, at least. What would you think?
Do you want to? I do a plot synopsis, right?
If you want, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So essentially,
Do it.
it pretty much just follows the kind of story of this kind of down on their luck Korean family. They're not really doing that great money-wise, and the son becomes like a tutor for this rich family, and one by one, they start getting the workers of this rich family fired and replacing them with their family. So it's sort of like a parasite on this family's life.
Oh.
It's quite interesting. It's quite funny. We were laughing quite a lot.
But it's also got some dark twists and turns. Which,
Yeah, it gets really surprisingly dark for a movie that's kind of this funny and is lighthearted for the most part.
But in a way, looking back on it, I could sense that darkness building up, because otherwise, what would the movie sort of really be about without what happens? Yeah.
How was the subtitles for you guys? Was that distracting at all?
Well, for me at first, I was sort of a bit confused with like the characters and the family and who was who, and then after sort of like 20 minutes, I got my head around who everyone was, the subtitles didn't
it was fun.
distract me.
Nice.
But yeah, it was awesome. Massive recommendation. I thought it was awesome. Big love to this movie. Go see it. It needs more love.
Yeah. Don't see like Lion King for the third time.
Which has already made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We live in a society. And that
We
live in Disneyland. It's just the whole world now.
so yeah, that brings What's Out Folks to a close as we head back to July 2009.
Bruno, Sacha
no.
Baron Cohen,
That's a classic.
no.
Snoop Dogg, Elton John, Harrison Ford.
Classic.
Harrison
film.
Ford
You
in
don't
this
remember?
one scene.
That's so funny. There's so many movies. This is crazy. So at the beginning of so many big genres, like you think about that. What else we've got? A bunch of ones I don't know. It's Sesame Street. 500 Days of Summer.
Oh,
all-time
my favorite movie of all time.
Banger.
Love it.
That came out on. Hang on a sec. Where is it? The 17th of July. So that was the 3rd of
Bro, you didn't even have
August.
an anniversary. What the hell?
You should have watched it.
Yeah, I
10
should have
years.
watched it on the day it came out.
Damn. What's Mark Webb doing? Is he just chilling?
Yeah.
He's doing a Snow White movie for Disney, I think.
Oh.
Live action remake, baby.
Oh.
Ready to spend more money on it?
No, I'm not going to say it.
We had the second best Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
That's a controversial
Sorry.
opinion.
Yeah, it's the second best movie
I
this
don't know if
year.
it's the second
What's the best
but I
movie
really
this
like
year?
it.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Wow, I will agree.
Wait,
with
what was your
Azkaban.
favorite?
I will-
Azkaban?
Yeah.
I really like Azkaban.
I don't know about Half-Blood Prince.
I
being
really
the
like
second
Half-Blood
best.
Prince too.
I
Half-Blood
reckon.
Prince is totally the second best.
I
Half-Blood
think.
Prince is so good. The Horcruxes,
I'm sorry, have you
Snape.
seen Order of the Phoenix?
Order of the Phoenix is definitely the bottom of the list.
That's awesome.
Not right at the bottom, but it's like definitely close to the bottom.
We've got
It's a good movie,
I
but
guess
it's
we'll
not
have
as
to
good
do
as
a Harry Potter
Yeah, we're gonna have to do
power
a Harry-
ranking special.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
It's good, but it just sort of the plot,
You okay? I think we need Heath on for
the
this.
plot gets sacrificed because they're cutting out so much
favourite
from the
one.
book.
Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Order of the Phoenix is my favorite Harry Potter film.
I just remember it being so dark. Like when I saw it as a kid, I was just like,
It's just hard to watch because of Umbridge, because you just hate her so much.
I love her.
6 is the worst.
I don't agree.
For me, the bottom two is Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 is clearly the worst of the
I
Harry
love
Potter
Deathly Hallows Part 1.
but it is the worst.
Honestly,
No,
I
have you
think
seen
Deathly Hallows
Chamber of
Part 1 and
Secrets?
like the first one are like down the bottom for me. The first one doesn't hold up for me.
I love the first one.
The first
Oh,
one's
no.
still fun.
I don't like
No,
Chamber of
first
Secrets
and
that much.
third.
We're
like
doing a
Chamber
Harry
of
Potter
Secrets.
special.
But we'll have to
Actually,
save
okay,
this all for a
The
video.
worst Harry Potter movie is Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh, that's no question.
we're getting
That's
into
true.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
like,
no
that's
question.
I like to like rid that from my mind.
Yeah. Okay, we've also got. I feel like I'm skipping over a few, but I don't recognize them. There was the Los Bandoleros, which was that short film for Fast and Furious.
Oh,
we did.
that's right.
Lost,
Which one?
Lost
The number
in
4.
Dolores or something.
Yeah.
I can't speak Spanish.
There was G-Force, the hamster movie.
Yes, G-Force.
Nick
Oh,
Cage,
gee, I
Steve
saw this in the
Buscemi.
cinema.
I saw that in the
Steve
cinema.
Buscemi. Such a big cast.
We had that on DVD. And
was
I've seen that
wild.
movie so many times.
I've seen it once, which is
Yeah.
Oh,
I
love
remember
G-Force.
get your ass out of my face and then get your face out of my ass. Best joke in the trailer and then my favorite joke in the movie.
That's funny. Aliens in the Attic.
Oh,
Okay, actually, yeah, that's a classic.
I only
scene.
saw that because of Ashley Tisdale.
9-year-old dragons like,
Nah, because she was in like Sweet Life and all those shows.
That's funny. And then there was funny people: Adam Sandler,
Ah.
Seth Rogen, Leslie Mann, Eric Bana.
Adam Sandler funny
Jonah Hill.
people.
I bet it wasn't that funny.
Oh shit! And that's it. That's July. So
Kill me.
so many movies that year. And then I'm looking down at the rest of the movies. So many. So there you
Yeah.
go. Happy 10th anniversary to specifically 500
days of summer.
Well,
Yeah.
on to the headline stealers.
Graphic.
So we're not going to talk about any Marvel stuff in the headline stealers this month because we're going to dedicate that to topic of the month, where we'll break down all of the big Comic-Con reveals, courtesy of Kevin Feige. But there's still, actually, that was a lie. There is still some Marvel stuff we can discuss, which is Avengers Endgame becoming the high.
Just a complete. The first thing they announced in the panel we're going to talk about. But anyways.
Anyway, yeah, Avengers is the highest grossing movie of all time. $2.79 billion.
It's so sus. Like you and I had this conversation.
Because it managed to jump over from the re-release, the overseas numbers from the re-release.
Yeah.
And now we have.
Like 5 mil. It made 5 mil in like 2 days, and we're like,
Yeah,
it's sus.
and especially that it crossed it, or beat Avatar just when they were sort of doing all the Comic-Con announcements.
Yeah, it was
and I
really
like,
funny how it was like,
Yeah.
oh, we just suddenly found all these missing
Yeah.
tickets. You're like, did someone just buy out?
buy
like,
out
Disney
cinemas,
just dump $5 million on it.
But to be fair, like they've been trying to get this number for like, how long has it been now? Like it came out on digital basically when it happened. So.
Yeah, but
Months.
I always wanted it to be the highest grossing movie of all time, but when they did that re-release with that shocking Hulk deleted scene,
Or just like keep it in cinemas and then re-release it like towards the end of the year.
They didn't even put the Hulk stuff on the home release. Like which
what?
is weird.
And
Cinema
that
exclusive.
deleted scene that they released where all the heroes are kneeling down before Tony Stark, that should have been the deleted scene in the cinemas or something.
Yeah,
I think
that
I
scene
don't
was.
like that. I don't
I'm
like
glad
that
they
scene.
cut that.
It
Yeah.
feels kind of cringy to me.
It's just too
it's
distracting.
too long.
Yeah, it's distracting too because you're like, oh, there's Gamora just leaving, and
You're
then
just
there's,
seeing
like,
characters like, oh.
Yeah, it's like what? And then like the Mantis thing where she doesn't like
She's
you're
like-
you're trying to have a funny moment here, and these
Yeah.
mans.
The only part I liked was Captain America kneeling down. He's like shaking because he's so injured. I was like, ooh.
He just falls over like
Broken tendons.
There's a very funny version of that scene that I'm glad that they didn't do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, congrats. Now Disney beat Disney, so it's perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Thanks, Mouse.
I don't get. No.
And as we mentioned before, Spider-Man Far From Home crossed $1 billion, which is the first Spider-Man movie to do so.
Yeah.
But if you adjust for inflation, it gets. But anyways,
All right, Harry.
If you
Let it
adjust,
have its moment, actually.
so yeah, that's impressive, but in a way
Very
not
good time.
surprising. With if Captain Marvel can make $1.1 billion, then
Yeah.
Spider-Man can.
Plus,
Is that like a personal attack or something?
yeah. Plus, with like the 2 post-credit scenes and things being revealed on the internet, people will be like, "I gotta watch it again to see where this slides up with this."
do we think that it'll be the second biggest movie of the year, Spider-Man, or will that be like?
What's the second biggest?
Currently,
it's
it's Captain
Captain
Marvel,
Marvel.
but will it beat Captain Marvel?
I don't know.
We're
I don't
the
know where
second
it's at.
biggest.
of this year.
Oh, but
Won't
then
it be
those-
Star Wars?
Yeah. it's
Well,
Star
no,
Wars.
I mean like until Star Wars because we've
Oh,
still
okay.
got a few months.
But
like-
What's Spider-Man on now?
Because Star
think
Wars
it's
will
on,
make
like,
most of its money next year,
1.07.
really.
Wait, when does Star Wars come out?
Comes out December.
Mid-December.
But then there's also Frozen 2, which could.
Oh, true.
Disney's just got so many.
Yeah.
They've got from 1 to 6 currently, right? I mean, technically Spider-Man's Sony.
Yeah,
but-
because
Yeah.
you got Avengers, you got Aladdin, you got Captain Marvel, you got
Toy Story,
Toy
Lion
Story
King.
4, you got Lion
and then we got
King,
Frozen, Star Wars.
Frozen, Star Wars.
Jesus.
Woo!
Jesus.
Because Disney already beat their own record of the height of how much money they could make in 1 year,
Yeah.
which is 7 something billion, and they've still got 2 huge releases to come out. So, 2019,
And what else is coming out? Well,
Star Wars
Star
and
Wars
Frozen.
and
Frozen 2.
Frozen, yeah. When does Frozen come out?
November.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
They're never gonna have a year like this again.
No.
Nah, I feel like this was their year.
Although maybe they will.
Well, what have they got next year? They've got Mulan,
Jungle
Black Widow,
Cruise.
Jungle.
But having the
Eternals,
last Avengers movie and
yeah.
the last Star Wars film.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
2019
It's never.
was just
And the Lion
Disney's
King
and
is a
Keanu
big
Reeves'
deal.
year.
Aladdin. They basically just. It always was weird to me going into this year of like, why did they put so many big things in 1 year? Why didn't they just like? Why didn't you just put like Lion King next year or Aladdin next year? Just like move it out. But
More
I guess
money now.
it
Yeah.
worked regardless. Like.
yeah.
Like they're laughing,
Yeah.
like,
No
and then
one
Disney
remembers
Plus
Dumbo.
is about to drop,
Oh
and like
god, yeah,
I wonder how well Star Wars is going to do.
yeah.
it's gonna do really well.
I know it's
I'm
going to
sure
do well,
it'll
but
be
like, is it
fine.
going to do amazing.
Because it's like Force Awakens made 2 billion, and what did The Last Jedi? It made 1.3, I think.
Yeah.
I reckon
So
it'll
it's a
do.
700 mil drop.
I can see this one also not making much.
I reckon it'll make around what The Last Jedi did.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Last Jedi, if not a bit less. I
But
think.
but if it's got really good reviews, it could make like 1.5 or
Honestly,
something.
I forgot there was even a trailer out.
Star Wars, yeah.
It's just weird because 1.5 seems so like kind of weak now.
Yeah,
But it's like
it's
1.5 a couple of years ago was like
huge.
like you were the third biggest movie of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas now
Now
it's
think
like
about how like, the original Star Wars film made like 30 mil.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Moving on to DC news, Zachary Levi says Shazam 2 won't have Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam in it, and that'll likely happen in Shazam 3.
It's weird.
They are really banking on this.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon that's really, really... There's not even a Man of Steel 2.
It's risky.
And they're already
Let alone
talking
a
Shazam.
It's like
3.
so. Black Adam's not going to appear in Shazam 2, but he'll appear in Shazam 4, which will be set up with a little cameo of myself in Black Adam 2, which will then set up the Shazam family
And in
sequel.
Avatar 13.
Yeah.
So, I think Black Adam comes out before Shazam 2.
It would, I feel.
Or they'll be like coming out around the same time, I think, because they're both sort
It's a
of
back-to-back featurette.
They've both got a director. They've both got no, I think Shazam 2 doesn't have a script yet.
But Shazam 2 would be probably easier to get going because
Yeah.
you've got everyone cast and the
Yeah.
whole crew's there.
Well, Black Adam's moving along pretty fast now because they've already got a script director.
We'll see. I like that they're taking they're not trying to pump stuff out now. Like I kind of like that they sort of failed with Justice League because now it's allowed them to sort of rethink
Yeah.
the whole strategy. And like this year we got Shazam,
And
like, that was it.
Yeah.
3 Marvel films, 1 DC. Which I think
And
is
then
what
there's
they need
Joker,
to do.
but it doesn't
Well,
really
Joker,
count.
but-
So
Yeah, but like, I mean, like DC.
Yeah.
so yeah, I reckon just we don't need Shazam 2 right
Keep
now.
doing what you're doing.
And we get a new Batman now, so that's cool.
Yay.
Finally,
Yeah.
And speaking of the Batman, Vanessa Kirby from Mission Impossible Fallout is rumored to be playing, or she also says she wants to play Catwoman in the Batman movie from Matt Reeves.
I'd be down.
She's a pretty cool
I
actress.
think
Yeah.
we've had enough Catwoman live action.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we get some more? Can we get a different villain?
Yeah, try someone else.
Can we get Clayface?
Vanessa Kirby is Clayface.
Still holding out for Clayface.
Let's start the petition. Get
One day we'll get
Clayface.
Mothman.
One day
What
we'll
about
get Man Bat.
Man-Bat?
Yeah. Man Bat needs to appear.
Even Calendar Man has had a debut in the Lego Batman film.
Yeah, legit. While I was on holiday, I was rewatching the Mr. Freeze episode from the animated series,
Oh, yeah.
and I just was like, Mr. Freeze is probably one of the best villains ever. Like, if you can do a really good Mr. Freeze movie, and I was like, I just came up with the idea for what a really good Mr. Freeze movie would be. I'm like, it would be so good. Like, you could have him as this like anti-hero, and like, it would be really good.
The thing I find interesting about Mr. Freeze is that he's kind of a wacky villain. Like he's sort of like he's a guy who lives in an ice suit who shoots ice at people. And while they keep trying to do this dark, realistic tone, I don't think they can do Mr. Freeze.
I think you can totally pull it off if you don't put him in like a crazy thing with polar bears. And he's
Carl's
doing
doing
it
Arnold
nice,
Schwarzenegger.
but- Yeah,
like I think,
he's got a cigar the whole movie, but he's
That's-
an
yeah.
ice. Yeah, anyways.
but like I think if they want to do Mr. Freeze, it's got to be a little bit more chilled out, a little bit more
But
Thanks, guys. And then
the polar opposite of what they did before.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it can't be stupid. Like it can't be super camp. But I don't think it can be like. I don't think Mr. Freeze would work in like Man of Steel.
No.
That's where you're wrong.
But I think
Zack
this.
Snyder's shivering.
I think this new movie's not gonna be super realistic. I think they're gonna lean more into their sort of like.
Supernatural. So.
Yeah, like comic book Batman,
Yeah.
where it's like we're not going for Nolan, we're going for sort of in between.
Like I reckon Mr. Freeze would have worked for like Ben Affleck Batman.
Oh, I don't know. But Matt Reeves, though, he's done very sort of
You-
dark
that's what you
movies.
think,
He said
right?
it's going to be a real detective movie.
But I think you got to embrace the Batman. Like it's a bit wacky. It's a man dressed up as a bat.
Yeah, don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Although you can take it seriously, clearly, because Nolan. is
Yeah,
Nolan.
but
But
like,
anyways,
Go one way or the other. Don't be like flip flopping.
yeah.
But that wraps up the headline stealers, which is pretty lackluster this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
July's
all
been
been
quiet months.
shoveled away into the little Comic Con corner.
Yeah.
All right,
Moving
is it
on.
time for big small news?
I think
Graphic.
it is.
The big small news.
I'll leave the graphic for my one. Yeah, so first up, big small news. We've got Ryan Reynolds joins Dwayne Johnson and Gal Gadot in Red Notice, now arriving on Netflix.
Yeah, Red Notice.
What's about? Do you know?
Apparently, well, Red Notice is like an Interpol thing where it's like a red notice on a person.
The one where like
Where Universal Studios paid a lot of money in a bidding war for this movie,
bidding war for this
Damn.
script.
and then
Better-
Skyscraper bombed, and they were like,
Netflix.
yeah. And then Netflix got it, and
Correct.
Ryan Reynolds joined the cast. The cast seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know. We don't know anything about this movie.
It does seem big star power for Netflix. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson.
They said it's it's funny because there was a story the day before that was like Netflix is going to start cutting back on how much they're spending, and then the day after, this is the biggest commitment Netflix has ever made to a movie. And we're like, Jesus, all right. Clearly, someone's got the wrong report.
I was reading somewhere that it's like a potential franchise starter where they can do spin-offs and TV
my
shows. So
gosh.
Yeah.
Netflix wants to sort of start creating their own
Little
properties.
Multiverse.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
The Netflix multiverse.
as more and more the stuff that like Office and Friends leaves Netflix in America.
True.
Lunatics and Red Notice are in the same universe.
Hell yeah, dude. We got up next. Samuel L. Jackson cast in the new Saw movie from Chris Rock, arriving October 2020.
What?
They really have
That's my reaction. I'm like, okay, cool.
They really have like no other properties, do they? They're really milking Saw.
Yeah, it's we're
Happy for a
we're in
while.
the era of comedy directors doing horror movies,
Yeah.
where it's like Halloween and now this.
Get
Jordan
out.
Peele.
Jordan Peele, yeah, 100%.
I can't wait for it to be shit.
I haven't seen a Saw movie, so
Neither.
I got no clue.
Are you saying you haven't seen Saw 1, Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5, Saw 6, and Saw 3D?
And Jigsaw?
And Jigsaw? Oh, my bad.
It's up there with Avatar.
Wait, no, there was Saw... was Saw 5... It was Saw 7, the final chapter. But,
That's right.
But which one was in 3D? Wasn't there
I think that
or was
was-
that... Was it 6?
Saw 7, the final chapter, until we need more money and we run out of
I think it was
properties.
Saw
Yeah.
the final chapter in 3D. I think it was. Because it was that poster with that big, like, man and, like, puzzle pieces or something. I don't know. It wasn't red, so...
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Joe Taslim from the Raid cast in the live-action Mortal Kombat remake as Sub-Zero.
I'm so excited. Oh, well, I love Joe Taslim. He was also in the Night Comes For Us, which was an Indonesian Netflix action movie from last year. And yeah, as soon as I heard this, I was like, so excited. But yeah, that's just my thoughts.
I like the Mortal Kombat games, but video game movies are usually pretty garbage, so
Yeah, I
can't
don't,
wait for this one to be crowded.
yeah, I don't know anything about Mortal Kombat, so
It's a whole bunch of people fighting each other.
well, yeah,
Yeah, I just don't know how you make a movie out of it.
Well, because there is like a storyline, and there is like
There have been movies, but
There have been movies, yeah, and pretty much you got to focus on the whole. It's all a big tournament thing, and everyone fights for a bit, and you rip out some spines, and everybody does their thing, and it's a bad movie. So I'm excited for that one to not break the cycle. We're on to the next one. Vin Diesel reveals Charlize Theron and Helen Mirren are returning in Fast and Furious 9.
Of course they are. Next question.
God, I love
Well, aren't you
money.
a fan of Fate of the Furious? So
I'm not a fan. I never said I'm a fan. It's not
You
like my
love it.
favorite movie. I just say that when you rank Fast and Furious movies, it's not the worst. Like it's towards the top. It's not in the top 3, but it's like probably 4.
Okay, no, actually,
Well,
yeah, fair enough. I
Like
agree.
you got Fast 5.
You agree?
I agree.
You got Fast 5. You got the first one, and then you've probably got
6.
Uh,
wait, you don't like 6? That's right.
look 6. 6 is Fate is better than 6.
Ooh. I got a
But
soft spot for 6.
yeah, I don't know. The third one might.
Guess we'll have to see in our rankings.
Like,
We
I
will.
hate Fate of the Furious, but if it was like watch Fate of the Furious or watch like the 4th one, I'd watch Fate of the Furious.
I would rather watch.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would
yeah.
rather watch Fate.
Because like as much as I
100%.
hate it, it's like
You still got The Rock, you got Jason Statham, you got like
yeah, like it's you can kind of just have your eyes glaze over and you just kind of enjoy it, I guess.
yeah. Nah, Fate of the Furious is fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Austin Butler cast as Elvis Presley in.
Baz Luhrmann.
I was gonna say it, but I thought you were laughing at me saying Austin.
Oh no, sorry, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. And Baz Luhrmann's upcoming biopic.
Damn it! It should have been Miles Teller. He looks the
I
same.
agree, straight up.
But anyways, I'm sure it'll be fun. It's gonna be a cool
It'll
movie.
be another
It'll be very
biopic.
extravagant.
It'll look.
That's what I hope.
It'll
Yeah.
look very good.
Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann.
Production
Yeah.
value will be off the charts.
Yeah, it's filming in Australia with Tom Hanks playing Elvis's manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Should be. I'm
Because
sure.
as we all know, Elvis was Australian.
Of course.
He grew up in the western suburbs of Melbourne.
Fun fact: did you know he was a naturally blonde-haired person?
Elvis.
Yeah.
I
What?
can't
Are
see
you
it.
he had
shitting
he had
me?
sandy hair,
Ew.
but then when he was a teenager, he dyed his hair black.
That's like really
Blonde boys for
weird.
life, Elvis. I see you.
Nah, the black kid.
It's like whack. Anyways, keen to see that scene in the movie where he dyes
Where
his
he
hair
dyes
black.
his hair, it's gonna be the turning point of the movie.
He's like staring at where he's putting on the eyeliner and he's just like...
Dexter Fletcher reportedly directing Sherlock Holmes 3, arriving December 2021.
I've only seen the first Sherlock Holmes, and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I really liked the first Sherlock Holmes. Wasn't a fan of A Game of Shadows.
I still think Game of Shadows is pretty good.
I need to see it again.
I'm
I'll give it the
gonna watch
benefit
it
of the
this
doubt.
week. I watched the first one a couple of days ago.
Okay.
But
Let's
yeah,
watch it.
Dexter Fletcher doing a action movie because he's done Eddie the Eagle and Rocket Man,
Yeah.
and especially with Guy Ritchie's very
Yeah.
cool directing of
Yeah.
action scenes in the.
I think
First
that
two.
Dexter Fletcher, you look at Rocket Man, you think of like it's not okay. Well, there's action, you know, like in terms of directing the movement and the transitions and the
Yeah.
style. I think Rocket Man
Yeah.
shows it. He
Yeah.
could do something that's
Same with
Yeah,
Eddie
that's what
the
I'm
Eagle.
hoping,
Like
yeah.
some of the, I think I know what the sport is called. I think it's snow jumping or something. They look pretty cool. Those scenes look pretty cool. So I have
with
faith in
some
it.
slow mo
Yeah.
action scenes.
Yeah.
Once again, very
Yeah,
excited.
should be interesting.
Yeah.
Keen.
Sweet as. Andy Serkis reportedly directing Venom 2. Even Tom Hardy teased. Wait.
Even Tom Hardy teased he is on Instagram the other day.
Wait, did he really?
Yeah, he posted a picture of Andy
Wasn't there a report
Serkis.
that he
And
is
then-
directing Venom, like a couple of days ago.
Well, it was like he was among a short list of directors, including Travis Knight from Bumblebee and Rupert Wyatt from Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
But Tom Hardy posted yesterday, I remember, on Instagram a picture of Andy Serkis, and then I checked again late that afternoon and it was deleted.
That's really weird.
Oof.
He should have just posted a picture of like Gollum, something like really like random. No, I think Andy Serkis had such a weird career trajectory, to
Yeah.
use the word again, because
Yeah.
it's like, you know, you start off as like a random voice actor, then you do Gollum, which like changes the industry forever, and you do all these other, you know, motion capture roles, and then he starts directing, and his first movie is this sort of no one really cares.
No
Yeah.
breathe.
Victory has defeated you.
Well, there's the first, so there was the Jungle Book or Mowgli,
Yeah.
and then there's one before that, wasn't there?
Breathe
with Andrew Garfield and Claire Foy.
Right, and then now this, it's like it makes sense that he would want to do a big like franchise movie, but
Yeah.
it's
Get his
like
name out there.
it's like
As a director.
Venom 2. It's kind of weird,
I don't
but I
know.
guess the CGI motion capture kind of fits.
Yeah, it's
Could be
it's an
good.
interesting pick. Yeah, I liked Mowgli, the Netflix
I
one.
haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it either.
So
It's alright. They should have just had Tom Hardy direct Venom 2, just also write it and also
He
produce
seems
it.
to be the
And,
most into it, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, just
Oh, his freak
Just go
acid
nuts.
was like,
Yeah. Well, he
That
seems to be
that
the
would
most.
actually be so good.
he plays all the other
Tom
characters
Hardy's
as well.
Vision.
It's just Tom Hardy's Venom 2. Yeah, it's just like all the credits.
a
is
Tom Hardy production.
That's so funny. All right.
We up next?
not keen.
Yeah, not keen.
Uh,
I hate you, Venom.
Wait, for Venom 2. I think if
Oh,
they go
God,
all
no.
in on how crazy it is, it'll actually be pretty good.
Maybe.
I reckon they make it a little bit more than like PG
Yeah.
Yeah.
instead of like Venom, like
It's
massacring
like with,
people
especially
and
with
people just kind
Carnage,
of fall
they
over.
gotta make that shit like.
They can't have PG-13 Carnage.
They're not going to do it though, because they made so much money last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have some balls.
Haha, imagine that would be lovely. Warner Brothers indefinitely delays Akira after Taika Waititi has moved on to do Thor: Love and Thunder.
Sorry, Ash. No Bubbles, no Akira.
Keep getting shit on. Like,
I kind of feel bad for him though, because he keeps. I mean, I guess it's hard to feel bad when he's like,
Yeah.
oh, instead of Akira, you get to make Thor: Love and
Yeah.
Thunder. Damn, but like. He had so many projects lined up that just sort of
Yeah.
got canned last minute. And he's like, I guess I'll just go back to Thor
Would have
then.
liked to see him do a bit more small movies because he's doing Jojo Rabbit, which we'll get to later. I would have liked to see him do a bit more smaller movies, but you know, I'm happy for the dude.
Akira was so
I think it's
close.
because he just doesn't want to like tank his career. Like, make a shit small movie, you know what I mean?
I don't think that would really tank it yet. Like, I think that he had enough success with small movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he starts making shit ones.
Plus, we know Jojo Rabbit's good because, I mean, I've already read the script for Jojo Rabbit, so like, it's really good.
What, was it good?
Yeah, it's been online for like 4 or 5
I-
years.
I'm not reading it.
Yeah, I'm not going near that.
Because I read the script way before it was made
It's
into
based
a
off a
movie.
book, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's based on a book.
And so I was like, Taika Waititi. This was like when Thor Ragnarok came out. I was
Yeah.
like, let me read this, and it's really good.
Okay.
So
I'm
already seen
really excited for like Thor 4 because I don't want them to remake Akira. I really like the original. I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
to see it remade. This is why I'm excited for it not happening.
Do you think
Cool.
Taika Waititi is the right choice to do Akira?
It's a bit of a
See,
weird
I don't
choice.
know. I'm just kind of like, I feel like he could do something different with it, which would interest me. But also, I'm like, I want something new. I
Yeah.
don't want the same thing again.
Well, apparently they were gonna just adapt the actual like manga.
Yeah.
Just the manga. How should I say it?
I think it's manga.
It's
I'll say
manga.
manga.
Manga. I just said it weird. That's why I made it weird. But they were going to adapt that rather than the actual movie, which
Yeah.
is different. And they were all ready to go. They just cast it, hadn't they? And they're like,
Oh, or they were looking at actors and then...
It must feel pretty good for him to just be like some dude from New Zealand who's now like being like pulled between studios.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everyone loves him.
so true.
But it's funny that Warner Brothers delayed it just so that they could wait for Taika Waititi
Yeah.
to be available again.
Yeah, then say screw you for going over to Marvel. We're getting some random. We're getting
Dexter Fletcher again.
Yeah, we're getting. No, I can't.
Tom
think of it.
Hardy.
We're getting some random comedy film.
Hardy.
Who
director.
did Solo?
Ron
Oh,
Howard.
We're getting Ron
Howard.
Howard, the biggest pushover in the world.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What's next?
Lashana Lynch is playing the new 007 at the start of Bond 25. Is it a big deal?
Oh, so that's okay. So I'd avoided this story like the plague because I didn't
Okay.
want it to be spoiled for me.
Yeah.
So now I
too
know.
bad.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Makes sense because he's retired at the start,
Yeah.
so that's cool.
Wait, how do you guys know that? Is it
'Cause
the
they
end of-
said he's
at the end of
retired
Bond
at the start.
24?
Spectre, yeah.
Oh, okay.
When he
Yeah.
drove off in the Aston with
With Leah Sado.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
him.
okay,
So
fair enough.
retiring.
I was about to attempt a pronunciation. Thank you for saving me.
Leah Seydoux.
But yes, a black female 007 agent.
People are freaking out.
Can people
Yeah.
calm the fuck
I
down?
reckon.
Yeah, does it really
Same with
fucking
like
matter?
the black Ariel from Little Mermaid. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
She's
What?
not playing James Bond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just playing
she's playing
007.
007.
Yeah.
007.
And only for the start of the movie, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, stop
I think it's
crying about
interesting.
shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Universal still moving forward with, I'm going to say 355. I'm not going to say 355. Starring Jessica Chastain and Simon Kinberg.
Or from Simon Kinberg, the director of Dark Phoenix.
It's from Simon
Dark
Kinberg.
Phoenix.
So it's this female espionage action movie with Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz,
Atomic Blonde and Pepper.
Lupita Nyong'o. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
filming. I thought it might have got canned after Dark Phoenix.
Oh well, look. Simon Kinberg did this spoiler interview where he talked about Dark Phoenix more and wrong, and it was really good. It's like really honest, it's really genuine. He just sort of talks about the industry and his career and stuff. And like,
Okay.
I'm like, man, this guy needs a break. Like, he's actually like really good. What happened with Dark Phoenix is unfortunate, but
Does he hate his own movie?
yeah, well, he fully admits, he's like, look, like, you know, most of the directors will come out and they'll blame the fact that the release date got pushed and that they didn't want to put it up against Avengers Endgame, but then it got forced into being in there and like it, you know. But he's like, look, at the end of the day, like, I made a movie that people didn't connect to, and that's on me. Like, it's not, you
Nice.
know, at the end of
What
the
a
day.
hero.
Respect.
Yeah, what
Like,
a champion.
And now he's learned from his mistakes and
Well,
might
yeah.
make a really cool movie.
Yeah,
So-
that's awesome. That has to be respected.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I hope that this is good, because man's been doing X-Men movies for like 10 years. So,
Yeah, that's true.
although he's actually connected to so much, he's helped with all the Star Wars movies that
Yeah.
are coming out. Like he's produced a lot of stuff. So
Sweet as.
Movie.
I hope everyone liked the Halloween remake because Halloween Kills is arriving in October 2020 and Halloween Ends arrives in October 2021.
Please stop.
Honestly, the day I saw Halloween with Declan that afternoon, I was like, what do we do today? And we were like, we watched Halloween. I was like, I liked it. It's such a forgettable movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever has the job of stopping the people naming these movies from killing themselves. They're doing an excellent job.
It was just, what does Halloween Kills even really mean? Like,
We need another scary word after Halloween.
Kills.
Kill.
It's like I'm ended.
I'm
Oh,
kind of
ends.
like I'm keen for like Halloween Ends. Like that'll be interesting. But it's like, you just know nothing's going to happen in Halloween Kills because
It'll be a
they need to make
consequence.
another movie.
this is legit though, like the fourth Halloween 2. Because there's
Yeah.
Halloween and then there's Halloween. Well, there's Halloween 2,
And
and then there's the like Halloween Resurrection, which is like the
Yeah.
sequel to H2O, and then there's Halloween 2. There's Rob Zombie now. This
Yeah,
is
this
Halloween
is the
Kills.
fourth one.
No, wait, isn't Halloween... Wait, so the Halloween that came out last year was Halloween 2,
Yeah.
because it came
Oh
out...
Sequel.
yeah, so this would.
Oh, this is
like...
but this,
Fourth Halloween.
but
Wait, and so then Halloween
so
Kills
this is technically
is...
Halloween 3.
yeah.
Yeah, and then Halloween Ends is going to be Halloween 4.
Four.
Ah.
Jesus.
But it's Halloween 2.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Hope
in a
you're
way
all
it's
super
Halloween
excited
too.
for more
Can
Halloween
you,
films.
can you imagine, like, you have the box of the franchise and it's Halloween, Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. And you're like, what's going on?
It's so stupid.
And they're like, we're going to do the trilogy. But you're like, but it's already a 4 because now, like,
I
yeah.
only just thought about it then. How crazy is it that the movie and the sequel have the same name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is so
there's 3
stupid.
Halloween movies named Halloween.
One of them is a direct continuation. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Halloween.
It's like one of those
Halloween Kills.
reversible discs where you
They
put
should have
each
just
one,
made
then
the
you flip it
next 2
over.
movies just called Halloween and just going like Halloween, 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 Halloween.
And then when you like buy the box set, they're all in the wrong order. And you have to figure it out.
You have to watch them all. You're like, oh, that's the end. Ah, whoops.
Yeah, you watch the last one like second.
But if you'd never seen them, you probably wouldn't be able to tell because they'd just be the same slasher
Yeah.
movie.
It's
with,
the
like-
same movie over and over again.
It's like, oh, we're gonna transfer him to another prison. Oh, he broke
Oh
out.
my
Oh.
God.
Oh no, he's killing people again. Oh no.
He's got his mask somehow.
Do we know if Jamie Lee Curtis is back?
Oh yeah.
She's back for all of
Yeah.
them? Oh god. she's
It's
in
funny
nothing
because
else.
they'd originally pitched the first movie as a
Two-parter,
two-parter, which really pissed me off because I didn't know that when I went to see the first one. And so when it ends fairly open, I was like, are you serious? You had so much opportunity to do an awesome, like, the end of Halloween where, like, they
Yeah.
both die or, like, at least one of them dies
Yeah.
or someone
Now
dies.
you got to wait 2 more movies.
And then it ends, I'm like, are you serious? It was just, that's
I
half
think that
the story.
movie was a solid end. He dies, he burns in a basement, the house burns down, and they all go home. And I'm like, I'm done. I don't need any more of this. He's gone. I don't care. That's enough of guy in
Nah.
mask kills people.
He's he's gonna speak. He's gonna say something. He's gonna take the mask off. They're gonna have, like, a whole conversation.
I love you, Jamie.
Moving on.
Forgets her name.
Yeah, he calls him by the actor's name. George Miller teases 2 sequels to Mad Max Fury Road are happening and a Furiosa spin-off.
Wait, so 2 sequels and a Furiosa spin-off?
Yes.
Okay.
So apparently one of the sequels will have Furiosa and one of them won't, and then she'll also get her own movie.
Nice. Charlize Theron was really good in Fury Road. So
Look, here's a little personal gripe. I have a lot of little gripes. My little thing with this is that it kind of annoys me how you can't have cool side characters anymore, and then they live in the movie, they're in the movie, they're the side character, and then they go away.
Yeah.
Like, I think Furiosa was so cool, like, because you don't know anything about her.
yeah.
We don't need to know anything more. She worked in the movie, she's done.
Yeah.
We really don't need a whole movie about her.
Yeah, but money.
Exactly. It's a little annoying gripe I have. I'm keen for Mad Max sequels, but I don't care about
If a
Furiosa.
Mad Max sequel had come out exactly 2 years after the first one, I think that would have really worked.
Yeah.
But we've had to wait so long.
Because George Miller's production company,
That's-
Warner Brothers, have been in a court battle over unpaid bonuses or something.
I'm sure they're
Because
really
Warner
big
Brothers
fans of
said
him.
they went over budget because of George Miller, and he was saying, no, we went over budget because of you doing something.
You did it. No,
Has anyone
you
won
did
this
it.
yet?
And that's what his pun?
Has anyone won this battle yet?
Not yet, but in this interview, he was like, oh, things are sort of on a positive note
But then
now.
is Warner Brothers really now going to fork out, the budget for 2 sequels and a spin-off after this? Like,
Especially since Mad Max didn't even do that well.
Yeah. But I just hope we just get one more Mad Max movie with Tom Hardy, please.
Yeah, it was really good.
I love Fury Road.
Awesome.
That's bait.
Yeah. All right.
Speed round through these.
All right.
we'll just do quick, like, impressions.
All right.
Like, boys.
Strap in, people. We're doing trailers. First up, Mulan.
Yeah.
Action looks kind of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like a full-on kung fu movie.
Bring back the music.
Yeah. But
Bring
there's
back-
Mushu.
Yeah.
There's no Mushu, right?
No.
No,
Although I
Eddie.
think it's interesting that people are getting mad about there being different songs. It's like, oh well, it's a different
I don't
movie.
mind. I don't
Chill
mind
out. Go
that.
watch the original.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
We done that?
Yep.
All right. Cool. Next up, Gemini Man.
I'm just an icon living.
I'm actually kind of excited for Gemini Man.
It's a weird movie.
Yeah.
It's like acclaimed visionary director Ang Lee making a fairly generic looking
Action
action
movie.
movie,
With
but it's got a cool twist.
And Will Smith. God love Will Smith.
Will Smith and Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith and Will Smith. Yeah.
All right. Sweet. The third Taika movie to be talked about on this whole news thing is Jojo Rabbit.
Keen.
So excited.
We're
Watched
so
a minute
excited.
long trailer,
Yep.
but I don't care.
I watched the
That's
trailer.
all it needs to be.
It had all the scenes from the script, so that's good.
Nice.
It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I can watch these trailers though because I know what happens. already.
Taika is Hitler.
Oh,
What more could you want?
fantastic.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. One of the latest movies ever, Zombieland 2.
I personally, I like the first one. I think it's overrated, but
I'm
I'm
the
looking
same boat,
forward to
yeah.
this.
It's showing up fashionably late.
Yeah.
10 years.
I think it's interesting though. I think it's a nice clean 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
I love the start of the trailer, the actors' names, Academy
Yeah.
Award winner Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like what's the director's name? Ruben Fleischer.
Yeah.
It looks like he's more comfortable doing
Yeah,
Zombieland.
that's what I'm-
Like the direction looked like decent.
Yeah.
Compared to Venom.
Yeah.
Which was shit.
Venom.
All right, sweet. The Irishman.
I haven't seen the trailer, but
I think it
the
looks
cast and things.
A Martin Scorsese gangster movie.
Oh
It's always good.
The de-aging's going to be a bit weird, but otherwise look good.
All I've seen is a Martin Scorsese gangster film. I'm like, all right, I'm in. I'm not gonna watch anything.
No, same.
1917.
It's a war movie from Sam Mendes, the director of Skyfall and Spectre.
I've only heard of the movie and I was excited. I haven't seen the trailer.
It's the two main characters are two young kids, or two young soldiers in World War One. One of them's played by Tommen from Game of Thrones,
Ooh.
and some other guy. And it's also got Colin Firth, Benedict Cumberbatch,
Is it Richard Madden?
Richard Madden. Yeah, so it's got a few.
Wait, Tommen's the really crap.
He's
like,
the little
Lannister kid,
king.
right? Oh yeah, cool. He was pretty mad.
Yeah. Looks
Wait, is
cool.
Tommen the guy who killed himself?
Yeah, jumps at the window.
Yeah. What a gangster! That scene is
Cool.
great.
You're never gonna watch.
I'm never going to
Yeah.
watch it, no, so I don't care.
It's
But
really,
yeah,
that scene's really
It,
good.
it looks very much like Dunkirk. So
I'm
Oh.
super keen for that. I loved
Okay.
Dunkirk with a passion.
yeah, Sam Mendes is like Christopher Nolan light.
All right, sweet.
Ooh, yeah, no, I'd probably kind of agree actually. Yeah.
Christopher Nolan is Sam Mendes XXL.
Little more trailers from San Diego Comic Con. We've got Cats.
Oh,
The
yeah.
infamous
Oh.
Jason.
Do we need to say anything more than
Burn
the
it.
internet's already
Yeah,
said?
you've all heard everything. You've seen the
Yeah,
trailer.
I love
You've
it.
seen the memes.
I love it.
But I still think it's as bad as it
Yeah.
looks. The technology wise,
Yeah.
it's very impressive.
There's a great.
I don't think the technology's there yet. I think it
Yeah.
still looks really bad.
For me, it's the movement that looks so weird.
And the faces, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
On a creative standpoint, it's just wrong. But technically, I think because the motion capture, I think it's
think it looks
impressive, but it's just wrong.
I'm not gonna pay to see an almost there like
Yeah, I don't. I think it
cat
looks wrong.
hybrid.
I want to see Idris Elba.
It's very uncanny valley.
And Jason Derulo.
I watched an interview where he said his green eyes are real. He had to put these contact lenses in.
So do you remember at the start of the year though
Yeah.
we did the most anticipated, and I put that on the list not because
that's
I was
right.
anticipating
Because of
it,
the
but because
cast
it was
was
so
crazy.
weird, and like now I'm just retracting the statement. Like the cast,
Redacted.
the cast is still weird, but now it's like, oh, you kind of
This is
ruined,
what I'm getting in for.
kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
It looks amazing. I showed my mum because she loves the original, and she was like cheering through the teaser. She was like, "Yes!"
Oh, it's so good. The music, all the shots in that trailer were like practical shots, the jet shots, the,
Tom Cruise,
the volleyball.
Is
riding
Val
his
Kilmer
motorcycle.
coming back?
Is who?
Huh?
Is Val Kilmer back?
Yeah, he is.
But then there's also the shot of a funeral scene where I'm like, are they?
Val.
They're bringing him back just to bury him, as Heath likes to say.
Damn. But yeah, no. Miles Teller has a mustache. It's basically just Goose again,
It's gonna be
resurrected. I'm very excited.
It's gonna be goofy. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good old time.
Keen.
It's gonna look awesome.
The It Chapter 2 trailer I haven't seen.
The final
I
trailer.
didn't see this trailer. I
I
want
wanted to keep blind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I saw it. Looks good. It's just like the other trailers. Looks cool.
2
Never seen
hours
it.
and 45 minutes though.
Yeah.
I think that's absurd.
I think that's just a bit too long.
Like horror movies, like you rarely go over 2 hours.
Yeah,
because
like
the
an hour
first
40.
first it was like 2 hours 15, which
Yeah.
was quite a bit long for.
Like said, like yeah, I guess they're doing it justice, like the book. It's a
And
big
yeah,
book.
to its like praise, it never really felt fillery. So
No.
like it used the
But
right
it kept
time.
going.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
hopefully this one doesn't feel like it's a whole lot of filler.
I just hope it can maintain that tension for nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
I wonder if 3 hours or like 2.5 hours in, if you're still gonna be scared.
Yeah, you'll just
Like,
sort
if
of,
you're
you'll,
just
you'll
gonna
just
get-
be getting used to it by then.
I don't know. We are
Like-
talking about it here.
Yeah,
no,
but,
shit
like-
with
But the
horror
first it
movies.
wasn't that scary in the first
To be
place.
honest, yeah, that's true.
I didn't think it was terrifying.
Like I enjoyed it, but I definitely didn't.
I'm not good with horror.
That's alright, Dragon.
If there's no turtle, we riot. If you know what that means, you know what that means. Yeah.
21 Bridges.
It's a cop procedural sort of drama with Chadwick Boseman and J.K.
It
Simmons.
just looks forgettable.
If they do a sequel, it'll be 22 Bridges.
Nah, because it's like
21 bridges from the mainland to.
Manhattan Island.
Ah.
Close
In
the
between
21
now and
bridges.
sequel, they can
The,
build another bridge.
They could.
the
be
four train lines and the close all the.
They'll build a bridge at the end of the movie dedicated to the characters that saved the city or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Sequel. Be
Actually, I hope
Sun
during the
will be
movie, like
22
two bridges blow up, and the sequel's 20, 19 bridges.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like sort of like cop movies and like
It's
that
fun.
sort of stuff, so I'm pretty keen for it.
Yeah.
Is
Looks
it like a
alright.
mystery or just like?
I think it's like a bunch of cops get shot and Chadwick Boseman's like chasing the guys that did it, and it's like just one night. In
Police mystery.
You are in Wakanda. Yeah.
Police mystery.
and it's like some of them are corrupt cops. I don't know. One of those.
Cops.
Okay, now I'm into it. Now I'm interested.
Yeah.
This is my kind of okay.
And it's produced by the Russo brothers and Chadwick Boseman.
Oh,
running
okay, well,
around and-
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm interested.
I
This
know.
sounds cool.
Like I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure you'll be able to figure out when stuff's happening, but it just looks. I'm like, this is my type of movie.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think
cool.
I think you're the same, Heath. Yeah.
All right, and there was a Terminator featurette release.
Which is better than the trailer.
Yeah, it was so much better than the trailer.
I'm so excited for this movie. Did you watch the panel that I sent you? The Terminator Dark
started
Fate panel?
watching it, yeah.
Okay, so you guys need to do your homework out there. And watch the first 10 minutes at least of the Terminator Dark Fate panel from Comic Con. Because Tim Miller comes out, who did Deadpool, and now he's directing this. And he's the most like honest guy, director that I've like really ever seen. Like he comes out and he's like, okay, so Terminator Genesis was like pretty shit. And the producers at Skydance were like, we really want to like make good on this. And then they came to him and they were like, are you interested in this? And he was like, I'm kind of iffy. Like it's a sixth Terminator. It's been done. Why would we do this? And he said, the only reason we want to do this is because there is still something that is left unfinished, which is Sarah Connor's story, like from the first two. And so, and then the fact that they got James Cameron back and everyone's on board, and they just kept hammering home the whole time that it was about character. Like nobody cares about they just learn from the mistakes. Like this one is about character. They're not revealing the secrets. There's apparently so many things that we
That's
don't know
good,
about
yeah.
it that they kept out of the trailers. Arnold made a crack about how they revealed the John Connor thing in Genesis and how that was bad.
And that was on the freaking poster too.
Yep. So they just said all the right things to get all the fans back, because I think everyone was skeptical. The first trailer was like, it was cool, but it was kind of like some of the CGI.
looked a bit-
Yeah.
It looked like they were really missing the point of
Yeah.
what made the originals really
Yeah, but apparently, like, no, like this is, from all sounds of it, really good. And they just kept talking about Linda Hamilton and her character and how
Yeah.
dark the movie is, and just
But that featurette, yeah, just Tim Miller like on set going,
That's the
seeing
shit.
Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah.
and Linda Hamilton together, and oh my god, I'm making a fucking Terminator movie. And
he just they had a bet running during the Comic Con panel of how many times Tim
Yeah,
Miller would
so
say
like, yeah.
fuck, and Arnold would win money if he said it more than 5 times. Like it was just a great panel where they were just really honest, and I really
That's
liked
awesome. Because that's what you need at this
That's
point.
got me excited. Yeah.
You can't come out and say it's the most epic one we're doing yet.
it. Yeah.
Because everyone will be like, okay, whatever.
This is Genesis again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so excited. I
Mhm.
watched the first one the other day. I have the second one in 3D. I'm about to watch it. I'm so excited.
They're good movies. Terminator 1 and 2 are really good.
Classic.
And that wraps up the big small news. And now we move on to topic of the month, graphic, which
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Okay.
And topic of the month, we're just going to be talking about Marvel Studios at Comic-Con and all of their reveals. Lots to talk about. I reckon we should discuss it first off by the movies that are releasing in order.
Perfect. And then the shows?
And then the shows,
cool.
and then Blade, and then...
Blade.
So we'll start off with Black Widow, which arrives May 2020. David Harbour is playing Alexei.
He was great at the panel.
Movies next year, isn't there, for Marvel?
Yeah.
Is that many?
Black Widow and Eternals in November.
Also, that they should have made a joke about it on the panel where it's like, and David Harbour playing Alexei, lol. Make the memes. It's set between Civil War and Infinity War, right? Which I think was a really good idea. Like,
it's interesting.
Thanks.
Because it's a time period we don't actually know.
Yeah. And I was reading somewhere that... I watched the writers of Infinity War and Endgame discussed how they wanted to have a scene of them explaining what Cap, Falcon, and Black Widow were up to before Infinity War. So they're probably changing it up a bit for the Black Widow movie, just so that they can... It should be cool. Eternals... Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie, Kumail Nanjiani, Selma Hayek. That I'm not even going to try and... the dude from Train to Busan, who's has a name I can't pronounce, but apparently his English name is Don Lee. So
cool. That's the one I'm actually kind of excited for. It seems more interesting than just it's Black Widow again.
Yeah, this is something very different.
it's gonna be interesting.
They're making Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
They're doing Eternals,
which is the movie coming out after Eternals in February 2021.
Wait, what's it called, Declan?
Shang-Chi and the Legend of... Oh, wow.
And the Legend of what?
And the Legend of the Ten Rings. Which I think
you want me to go back up again? Oh, I'm sorry.
which I think is a way too big title.
Oh, for sure.
Actually, I like it. I think big titles sound fun. It's not like comic books, and I like it.
I think it makes sense in a marketing decision though, because it's like Shang-Chi makes sense, but it's like I feel like I don't know, throwing in the Ten Rings thing makes it.
I think that makes
connected
fanboys
somewhat.
and people who get it
Yeah.
One Rings.
Mandarin. King for the Mandarin. Apparently, the guy who's playing him, Tony Leung. He's apparently a very big and respected actor in China. So
that's pretty awesome.
That's cool. And I haven't seen the guy, Simu Liu.
He was really good on the panel though, when he came out. Okay. So he seems good.
Has anyone seen the guy who's playing Shang-Chi in anything? That's Simu.
I don't think so, no.
That would be exciting. New face.
It was really funny though, because he got cast on the Tuesday and then was on the panel on the Friday or the Sunday or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Sunday, yeah. So he got cast on Tuesday, was on the panel, and he'd screen tested before that on the Monday. So in the span of 1 week, he did his audition and then he's on stage.
He became Shang-Chi in a week.
Yeah, and I thought it would have been hilarious if he came out on stage. It's like, so I'm playing Shang-Chi, just has no idea who he is.
Small indie movie,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm keen for it to see the Mucklow rings and all that done well. And then after that, in May 2021, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
It's Scarlet Witch.
My most anticipated of all of these.
Best MCU
title. And it's the font, and it's just...
I'm so
apparently it's going to be Marvel's first sort of more horror movie.
I'm happy
which makes sense with the director. Yeah.
I didn't like Doctor Strange 1 that much, but it's
just forgettable, the first one.
Yeah, after Endgame, Infinity War, I'm like, I want to see more.
Yeah. So keen for that.
Stopping the water in Endgame.
Oh, that was so awesome. I was like, more stopping water, please.
And then in November 2021, Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's a cool
with Taika Waititi returning to direct, Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson returning, and Natalie Portman as Mighty Thor. She's not female Thor or Lady Thor. She's Mighty Thor.
I'm really mad that we know about
She's
that.
just Jane Foster with a hammer.
It goes back to the stuff we were talking about before about how it's annoying that that Bond stuff leaked. Yeah, it's like this. How cool would that have been? In the movie, she does at Captain America, where she grabs the.
But that's true. Unless the movie really is about that, though, it happens sort of in the first act.
But even if it is, you know how Force Awakens, they made you think that Finn was the Jedi the whole time. and it was Ray. It's actually Ray's story.
Yeah, but-
I reckon if with cool marketing they can do it, and people are gonna go watch it. It's a Taika Waititi Thor movie. They don't have
it's
to
a
tell.
Marvel movie.
Yeah, they don't have to tell
Yeah.
the story.
I think it's just one of those things where they looked at it and they were like, I don't even think the script's really been written yet. So it's
No.
like, they hadn't really gotten far enough to be able to know that it was going to be sort of a surprise. I think like
Yeah.
the announcement had been leaked and then they're like, how many just cool things can we just throw out in the panel? That's cool. And I think that the big reason she came back was because of that change.
Yeah.
And so I think that they really needed to show that and like give her that moment on stage. It's like, okay, this is why I'm back. Is because
It's coming out 2021, right?
Cool.
November.
Yeah, like,
20.
it's probably going to get out between now and then if
Yeah.
they announce it, but it's just like in a perfect world.
But
Yeah.
what do you think about Natalie Portman playing Thor? I personally don't like it.
It's just her character, like
Exactly.
that's
Like
it.
I'm not against like a female Thor. Like
she's a good actress too.
like if Valkyrie was going to be the new Thor, I'd be like, I'm keen for
I
that.
want Valkyrie to stay as Valkyrie.
But I mean, like I'd rather someone like Valkyrie, who's a bit more
Or
cooler than
Sif,
Jane
or even
Foster.
Lady Sif. I'd be down for her.
hang on, alright, so not Thor. Captain America lifts the hammer, right? But he's not Thor now.
You just have to be
right?
worthy.
Yeah,
So what makes her what turns you into
I guess we'll
Yeah.
find
Thor.
out. Maybe she does
Well,
something.
yeah. Why
worthy.
is she worthy? Well, just to hold. But
Maybe
then wait,
she
there's
becomes-
no.
maybe like something happens and she becomes the next Guardian. I don't know.
or is it like some alternate universe stuff that we're going on?
True.
Who knows? It could be a multiverse
That's
where
true.
Jade
I hope
is
not.
Thor in another universe and she comes over here.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll work it out.
I just.
Maybe.
Because that'd be interesting. Because that's a whole new character. then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's not the Jane Foster we know.
Who's pretty lame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah. No.
So yeah, that's the one thing that makes me go about Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
No, I'm down. They'll make it cool.
I reckon Taika can do it.
They reinvented Thor. Thor was a pretty boring character.
Yeah.
And then Taika got a hold of it and he's awesome. So I'm sure they can do the same with Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hope so, yeah.
What's next?
And then that was all the movies that they officially dated, but they announced TV shows. So the first one is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was fat.
And then the sequel will be To Falcon, To Winter Soldier.
And that arrives on Disney Plus late 2020.
Does the Marvel TV marketing team have the same team as the Halloween films? Oh my
But to be honest,
God.
what else are you going to call it though?
Come up with something cool. The
Cap's
Falcon
friends.
Like these
Bird
titles-
Arm. Just
the
like.
titles for these movies are literally just the main characters.
Yeah, that's true.
No one I don't know. I think it's lame.
But yeah, so the whole show will be about Sam Wilson, Falcon, sort of taking on the mantle of Captain America.
Written
and
by Derek Kolstad.
John Wick, yeah. So yeah, and Zemo, Daniel Bruhl from Civil War is returning.
Let's get a comic accurate suit or something.
So yeah, I'm pretty keen for the show because I do like Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan's chemistry.
Yeah.
I'm keen for the show. I just think it's a stupid title.
Yeah, and then after that, in early 2021 is WandaVision.
That one takes the cake.
WandaVision is so stupid.
This faces the best titles and the worst titles.
I think WandaVision is it's dumb initially, but then the more I think about it, I'm like, it's better than the Vision and the Scarlet Witch because at least it fits with
something else.
It fits with the aesthetic of this 50s WandaVision. It's like this. It sounds like some kind of retro invention of
Sounds like one of those comic book team ups.
And apparently it'll tie in directly to Doctor Strange too.
That's interesting.
What is this? What is this thing about being 50s?
Well, that's what all of the teaser material is real retro. It's her and Vision living in the 50s and stuff. So
Yeah, I've got no idea.
They've said it's really weird. They kept saying in the panels,
Yeah.
really weird. So
That's kind of Scarlet Witch's thing.
maybe it's some kind of her using her,
a
powers.
WandaVision.
Yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe Vision's dead, but
It's called WandaVision.
exactly.
Yeah, and then also early
We'll find out.
2021 is a Hawkeye. Hawkeye TV show.
Oh, I thought that was a movie.
No, it's a TV. It's a Disney Plus show.
Not much to say there.
Kate Bishop training her. We
It's
find
cool.
out about
The
Ronan.
font and the logo I used to hate, but it's grown on me.
It's
well,
the
it's from the comics.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I think it's the
Exact
yellow that just.
I think most of these will probably change before they
Yeah.
come
Oh,
out.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
a lot of them were pretty shit. The Loki, like
I
Loki.
hate
jumping
the
into the
one.
Loki one,
I
it was
only jumped to
awful.
The
Yeah.
Loki one looks disgusting.
It was so.
and they did confirm that it'll be following on from the
The
Endgame
Tesseract
thing where he started.
I think the only bad part about the Loki font is the K. I think if they fix the K, I
It's
think
like
it could
this
look
thin
good.
thing and it's this fat.
The
body.
K looks disgusting, but if they change that, it could look better.
They need to find their special K.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Kellogg's.
Yeah. Wait, was that all the TV
No,
shows?
there's What If.
Oh, What If? Yeah.
I'm
And-
really excited for What
yeah,
If.
an animated series that'll do like alternate versions and realities of stuff that happened. Like one of the first episodes will be Peggy Carter getting the super soldier serum.
Which
Instead.
is like, how do you do that? I guess Captain America's just not involved today.
That grenade that he
And
jumps on.
apparently it'll be Steve Rogers will be like her friend or something.
But then how is? But they're not getting Chris Evans back, so
Who
like.
knows? He could.
But
It is animated.
all the actors, most of the MCU actors are returning to voice.
But then they're not gonna get Chris Evans or Downey Jr. to do it. So
Yeah, but that they weren't in. Like they showed like all the pictures of all these actors
Yeah.
returning,
and those two weren't there.
yeah,
it'd be interesting. Actually, well, you could go through that list of cast members. You can kind of work out what some of the stories are going to be because
Yeah.
like there was Michael B. Jordan,
Yeah.
there was Jeff Goldblum, there was like a whole bunch of people. You're like, oh, so I guess they're going to do something with that character.
yeah.
That's
The whole
interesting.
series will be narrated by Jeffrey Wright.
That's so cool.
I want more Grandmaster.
Yeah. Well, I hope he's in Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah,
Ooh,
He's my favorite part. Right
he's
now.
the new Thor.
but yeah, and then right at the end of the panel, they revealed Mahershala Ali is playing Blade
Just came out of nowhere.
in a movie that'll arrive in Phase 5. Because apparently those movies and TV shows is Phase 4. It's just it's just 2 years, Phase
Yeah.
4.
We're going to be 22 years old when Blade comes out.
That's weird.
I'm cut. There was no Spider-Man, but that's okay.
Yeah, we have to wait forever.
To
No,
find out.
Spider-Man will be. I reckon they'll throw that into 2021. Like it'll be a part of that because there's a Sony thing they have to announce that too.
Yeah, I don't know because there's no Black Panther 2, no Captain Marvel 2, no Guardians 3, no Ant-Man 3.
This does seem like a new
Yeah,
age.
this is the most. This is the most.
It feels like
different.
Phase 2.
Yeah.
There was a few interesting things though, because I mean, just to jump into that phase thing, initially I was like, okay, that'll be like half of Phase 4, and then they'll do the other half,
Yeah,
and then
that's
it'll
what I
end
was
with a team up. But now, when you think about it, technically, Phase 2 ended with Ant-Man, Phase 3 ended with Spider-Man. The phases are no longer about the big team ups. They're
Yeah.
just sort of when they're eras of the movies. You know, like it's just like it makes sense in their development process. Of when to end them. So to me, if they just have Phase 4 arbitrarily end at Thor: Love and Thunder without a big climactic moment, it kind of makes sense.
I like that we don't
Interesting.
know what's going on with Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they said that there would be another team. Like
Oh, there would
he
be.
did talk about
Because
it.
it's like in Far From Home. They're like, what happened to the Avengers?
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm happy that we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they just make the Revengers. The Thor team comes back.
yes.
But yeah.
I hope they don't do one with everyone. I hope that that's just like select team because
Yeah.
like how like if you were trying to bring like I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, technically you only lost handful of Avengers characters. There's still like at least over 30.
Yeah.
You know. So I hope in the next movie they just do like a
Some local
specific
ones.
team, and you don't have to have everyone in.
So
it.
Avengers 1 type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what they did with Endgame was really smart because it was, you know, they focused on specific people.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Is that all?
I think that's.
Well, as long as I hope Blade isn't PG-13.
Yeah,
It will
that'd
be.
be
but,
really
I'm really sad. If it's gonna be like, there's gonna be no blood, I'm gonna be really upset.
That'll be, yeah.
Blade's a gory, violent mess. It's great.
Also weird that Mahershala Ali is now 2 characters.
Yeah.
Well, that sort of confirms that all the Netflix shows are
Or they're
just
just
really part of
or
Kevin
they're just
Feige's
on another
MCU.
Earth.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I feel like it's more along the lines of just like, no one likes Luke Cage.
What was his character's name in Luke Cage?
Cottonmouth.
Can you imagine if he walked on stage and he's like announcing Cottonmouth the movie, and it's just like what?
Does he die in Luke Cage?
So does he die out a window?
That's right.
Halfway through the show.
Oh yeah, then he's replaced the
by
crap villain.
by what's his name? Oh, he had like a really crappy.
Oh, the guy that has like the super suit.
Yeah.
That looks like floaties. He looks like he's wearing a life jacket.
What the hell?
It's so.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got a PS2 strapped to his back.
That's fun.
It's so bad.
But yeah, keen for what Marvel does over the next few years.
Yeah, they have all of my trust.
But Marvel's not the only one doing epic team ups.
We've got Crisis on Infinite Earths coming out later
Arrowverse.
this year. Well, it's a 5-parter, 5 hours. 3 of those are coming late this year, and the last 2 are coming by Heath. The last 2 are coming out in the start of next year when all the shows are coming back.
Yep.
Arrow's 10 episodes, season 8. Oh, the cameos in this. You got Brandon Routh coming back as Superman, Kingdom Come Superman. You got Burt Ward, 1966 Robin.
Confirmed to be playing
Yeah.
Robin again.
You got Tom Welling, Smallville. Man. You got Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. There are reports that some of the Titans, like from DC Titans, might be making an appearance. Maybe some Doom Patrol people.
They said
hell yeah.
the movies, right?
And just today, there's reports that Black Lightning might make an appearance in
finally.
Crisis.
Of
Everyone's
course.
favorite
Yeah.
show.
But it's so crazy. They're just going all out. And I'm so happy.
Yeah, no, I'm really interested to see if they do manage to get DCEU people in, because there was
Yeah.
rumored.
Because there's a lot. It's pretty strong rumors that they might be getting some of the DC.
I just can you please get Michael Keaton's Batman? Can you please
Oh,
get like
who-
just
who-
all of these, even like
Val
George
Kilmer
Clooney?
Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Like just
Who would
Yes.
Who would have thought that the CW would be the one to bring the Endgame level
Yeah.
event for
5
DC?
hours.
Moving on.
Very
That's the end of the topic of the
So,
month.
final topic, or final segment, I suppose. Graphic, you need to see this. This is where we talk about a movie or Netflix special episode thing that you should check out because it's really awesome and you might not have. So, this month we have Derren Brown's Presents, I guess, The Push, which was a special that he did a couple of years back. It's awesome. I'm a big fan of Derren Brown, thanks to Ashley White, who's sitting behind the camera. I kind of knew vaguely who he was because he makes a cameo in Sherlock Series 3.
Oh yeah.
In the fake, like how he did it moment. And he's basically like a hypnotist, a magician, like one of those, what's the word, a mentalist,
Yeah.
where, you know, he has a whole bunch of tricks, like just sort of techniques up his sleeve where he's really good at, you know, reading like subliminal, like facial messages. Like he's one of the things where, like, if I tell you to think of the name of your mom, I'll work it out based on the way your face moves. You know what I mean?
What's her name, Harry?
Janet.
Wrong. Sorry.
Damn.
Well, Harry's no Derren Brown.
That's true.
That's fair. Okay.
Derren Brown, come on the show.
All right, guys. I guess we're just gonna expose my lack of mentalist capabilities. All right. Jeez. And another classic thing that he does, which I feel like people know, is he'll do a thing called a handshake induction, where essentially you'll go in for a handshake, and then if you, you know, sort of like you disorientate the brain by then, like if I go midway through a handshake and then I just grab your arm, put it onto your face.
How rude.
Yeah, and then he'll look in your eyes and say sleep, then you'll immediately go to sleep, because if you go into an action that you just do every day, you're not thinking about it, and he breaks it, you're not expecting it, you're suddenly put into a position of
That's cool.
what's the word called? I'm forgetting.
Hypnosis.
Suggestibility. You're extra suggestible, and then if he is charismatic and convincing enough, and he gives you a direction, and you're a naturally suggestible person, you'll just do it. Because the brain is looking for something, for answers. So anyway, so he does these specials where he puts all of these sort of techniques that he has into these things where they go into sort of the human psyche and society and things like that, and where they try to get someone to do something by the end of the episode. Just regular people. It's like the Truman Show. There's one person who's like real, has no idea that this whole thing is a setup. Everyone else is an actor. The whole thing is staged. And this one is where they tried to see if in the span of about, a couple of hours, you could get a random person to push someone off a building.
An hour, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
60 minutes, yeah.
But it's like in the span of an hour, can you get someone to murder someone else? Is essentially the thing that they do, and they they start off really slowly with like little things, and then it
Oh,
just
it gets better.
escalates up until there's two people on a roof and they're told basically go push this other person off the roof.
It's so fascinating, but it's so cruel. It's just
Yeah. So what did you guys think?
I thought it was really interesting. Like, obviously, when you first suggested it, I looked it up and I was like, an hour reality TV. Like, what is this? And then like within the first minute, like when that coffee shop scene, I was like, damn, that's. And then as the movie went on, I was like, it's gonna happen. Like this, he's getting pushed so far into this thing.
Yeah.
Things are just so in sync and line up well. But yeah, just really interesting sort of thing to watch. Yeah.
We won't spoil exactly what happens
No.
because you should watch it. And even if you did spoil it, it's still, you can't really spoil it because like there's sort of
It's just cool to see what happens.
Yeah. And there's sort of like a nice twist at the end, but
The results will shock you.
literally, yeah. But yeah, what do you think?
yeah, as I said, it's so fascinating, but it's so cruel. Like you with things like that, you always picture yourself in that, and you're just like, sometimes you're like, I would do that. Oh, maybe I would have done that. Oh, it's just,
Yeah.
and you don't want to think about it. It's just, it's really.
It really hit me in this one. I won't say when it is, but it's when everyone goes into the main hall. Like that thing that he has to do. I was just like, oh, can I do that? Like.
Yeah. Oh god, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want to know because, it's
Just watching them freak out the whole
Yeah.
time is it's enjoyable for us, but like you put yourself in that position the whole time you're watching. You're like,
Because
oh.
like the thing happens and you're like, what would I do? Like, would I do that? Or,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's cool what like a good understanding of just like psychological traits can do, and like when you understand how people react to situations, you can really engineer a whole situation where something like that can happen. And it's kind of scary, but also to an extent, it's not as like scary as it seems, because for the most part it's a hyper stylized, it's like a hyper secure environment
Yeah.
where everything has been set up for this one thing to happen. So it's not crazy. Like it's sort of like if you push someone to the brink, will they do a bad thing? Like, so like it's cool, and it's cool that like for the most of the show follows one guy, and then at the end they show that there were multiple other people to see what happens, and it's cool that
I kind of wanted to see the other people.
yeah,
To see
and I
how
think
they reacted to those situations.
And I think it's cool that they have 4 people come through, and there's like certain situations where all 4 of them do the same thing, and then it's other situations they don't. Other situations they're kind of like, no, and you see where it kind of, it's like a choose your own adventure sort of thing.
Yeah.
People get different endings because they've chosen different pathways.
Yep.
And I really liked at one point, there's a part where like he has to open a box, and like when you watch it you'll know what I mean. He has to open a box, and everyone's like, open the box, dude, and he really doesn't want to open the box, and then he doesn't. And like Darren's in his room like, he really needed to open that box. I'm like,
Yeah, they
Darren.
they set it up really really well for
Yeah.
what they show you at the end. But
Yeah, and then when he's like, no, I'm not going to open it, I was like, that's cool. It shows that he still has a bit of free thought. He's not like a slave to Derren Brown.
yeah,
But,
legit.
yeah, I think it's cool.
Oh, it just sort of like blew my mind. And then he has a whole bunch of other specials where there's one where they convince someone that he's living in a zombie apocalypse. There's ones where they get random.
I want to see that one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Definitely be watching more Derren Brown after.
Is that a Netflix thing?
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, what's it
Well,
called?
it is on YouTube, but they're all on Netflix as well.
What's it
It's
called?
called Apocalypse.
Like Derren Brown's Apocalypse?
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Apocalypse.
There's one where they try and get a really sort of racist American guy to like try and save the life, like put his own life, like sacrifice himself for an immigrant. There's ones where they
Using his powers for good.
yeah. Like they all sort of have like like a lot of people bring up the thing of like, oh, he's just doing this for the shock value and stuff.
The
But
Apocalypse one's about trying to get some like deadbeat to like turn his life around.
yeah, all of these are about trying to help the people. So the Apocalypse ones are set up with this guy who just like still lives at home. He's 30 and like he just doesn't care about anyone, and like it's about trying to get him to form these connections with these other people and like appreciate what he has and stuff. But they're all really good. sort of social experiments.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, like there's a lot of people that are like, this is sort of like terror. Like, how could you do this to people and stuff? And you think about
It is an ethical debate, yeah.
yeah, definitely. But then they talk about how they, for like the continuing way after the show, and probably still like they have like legit therapy sessions with these people,
Yeah.
and they talk through it all and stuff like that. It's like,
Oh, okay, good. I was scared it was going to be like, thanks for participating. See you later. Go.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
Get your paycheck out the door. With
yeah,
your
they're like
yeah, you're good.
traumatized because they think they've like covered up and almost killed someone.
Yeah.
And it's told it's fake. Like, that'll fuck you up. It's cool that they give them therapy stuff.
Yeah.
it's cool that they give them therapy. No, but
Yeah.
you think about the whole endeavor though. Like, it's insane how like if one little thing goes wrong, it's so much work down the drain. Like
Yeah.
they've got like months and months in advance that they're doing, and then there's the
Look at
actual
all the
night.
celebrities. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, getting the ad, yeah, and then there's like the months after of like sort of the post work. So like it's crazy, such a big
Production
thing.
and that, like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But even on a
great.
filmmaking standpoint, like
Oh, yeah.
how they have all the hidden cameras and all of that is fascinating.
I was
The
amazed
mic
how well they
up, what?
mic'd the place.
Exactly.
Everything was so clear.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? That's
Yeah.
when I started wondering if it's fake to see if the guy was wearing a mic, like the guy who was in on it. Then I was like, oh, maybe they just mic'd it really well.
And all the actors as well, like
Yeah.
really good because they have a script, but they have to be able to improvise and stay in character. And
Especially if like the person doesn't do what they're supposed to.
yeah,
do.
there's so many plan Bs and C and D, and you got to go this way this time, and that's crazy.
There were a couple times when like the person who's being like tested on does something out of the ordinary, and all the actors, you can see it for a bit. Sometimes they kind of freak out, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And they kind of just keep. It's kind of like a glitch in the system. They just keep saying the same thing again until he eventually just says, "Well, I guess I have no other choice." Yeah. So like,
weird.
sometimes he has free will, but sometimes they're like, the story won't move unless you do it. So like, yeah.
The whole thing really reminded me of that one Black Mirror episode with what was it called, White Bear or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't want to give away spoilers for that episode, but it was just like, I don't know. I thought of that during it.
That yeah.
Totally though, yeah, that's totally legit.
I was thinking more like Shut Up and Dance.
Oh, yeah.
With like the kid getting messages from like the
Kind
hacker
of,
dudes,
yeah.
because like it's what will you do?
Yeah,
if they're
true.
threatening you.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Go check it
Harry,
out.
It was cool.
Thanks.
You need to see
And
that.
because in psychology, it's just cool to see what you can do to people.
And check out just Derren Brown in general. All of his like
Yeah.
actual magic shows are all on Netflix as well, and they're just
Interested, yeah.
awesome. So yeah, I went down the Derren Brown rabbit hole, and I started trying to do handshake inductions.
You tend to
and
go down a lot of rabbit holes.
I do go down rabbit
He's a
holes.
digger.
I'm a digger.
Does he believe it's magic?
No. His
Okay,
his
cool.
whole thing is exposing that it's not real.
Because like I swear, like at the start of the special, he's like using magic and sociological techniques. I'm like,
No, it's like magic, like yeah, all the techniques.
Yeah.
So he uses hypnosis at some point. I'm pretty sure.
Like he doesn't believe he can like cast charm person.
Yeah.
No. He does this big continuously. His whole endeavor is trying to reveal to all the people that do stuff like that. Like
Okay, cool.
he'll do seances where he'll actually talk to do the thing. Where it's like, I've seen your relative. Is this what they look like? Is this what they're called? And then he'll just show you how he actually worked it out from just
Okay.
reading your
That's cool.
subliminal things. But anyways,
That's really cool.
you guys can find out more about Derren Brown in your own time. And that wraps us up for Movies of the Future. The second episode 7 that we've recorded, but the first one that you'll be seeing. Head to theslopshack.com for more podcasts and stuff like that. We just put out an awesome video where we had Pastel versus Mullermaid in FIFA and then in real soccer, which was a lot of fun. So you can check that out. Head to Instagram.com/movies_of_the_future. You can get all your latest movie news and reviews. You can also like and subscribe on YouTube. You can also head to Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, all your favorite audio platforms of your choice to check this podcast out. We'll be back maybe with another episode or a special or something.
Special, might do a rankings next episode.
Something.
Harry Potter.
There's a Fast and Furious one.
Ooh, yeah,
Okay,
hope
gotta
so,
do
sure.
Fast.
Furious.
That was probably likely.
Yeah.
You can count on that. Heath, thank you for joining us again.
Shit movies, come on.
Let's just do that. Yeah, it's just you at the table. That's it. Thanks, guys. This has been a lot of
That's okay.
fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Heath, for jumping on.
Hell yeah, dude! I had a great time.
Again.
I always have fun here.
And so do we. I hope you did too.
It's
Goodbye.
the highest viewed video
Oh,
ever.
I don't know about you guys.
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Love breathing into the microphone.